The current date is June 27th, 2022. Welcome to the Time Capsule Podcast, where we'll be looking into the future, discussing the present, and reminiscing about the past. By the time that we, your hosts, will revisit these episodes, perhaps we'll be married or we might even have kids. Anything can happen. But the point is that we won't be coming back to these recordings and listening to them for another 20 years. You, however, sitting there listening to this podcast, can revisit these episodes anytime you like. So, let us begin. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Time Capsule Podcast. I'm Brian. I'm here with Jake and David, my co-hosts, if you haven't already known that.
Hey.
Today, we're talking about school.
Hooray.
Yeah, hooray.
Or maybe the lack thereof. No, I'm just kidding.
That's also true.
I mean, you're not wrong. So, before we get started, just a heads up, I was homeschooled my whole life, so I don't have as many stories to tell about my schooling. I'll have a little bit of input here and there, but you know what? I completely forgot the intro. I literally had this planned out all freaking day, and I forgot it already. Okay. You know what? Screw that.
Nice.
I was going so strong too.
You were, dude.
Nice.
I was all into it.
I saw the look in your eyes.
On a roll.
I saw the look in your eyes of just frick.
I had this in the shower 30 minutes ago too. I was like going over it. I'm like, all right, this is what I'm going to say. This is what I was going to say. And then we get in here and I didn't write it down. And I forgot.
It's just like in the donut video. You're like, I forgot what I was going to say. Oh,
oh wait,
nope.
Never mind.
Dude,
Which if you haven't seen that already, go ahead and check out our YouTube channel.
Oh, we're keeping this whole thing in. Okay.
That video
Might as well.
That video turned out beautifully. I'm just gonna say
It did. I actually have a little extra money now. I'm going to try to get some
another donut maker.
No, some wireless microphones that we can wear on us while recording, so we're not worrying about like the camera audio quality. We can just wear the microphones for our next video. Okay, so before we get started into the bulk of today, how are you gentlemen doing?
I'm doing fabulous.
Dude, I'm doing pretty good. I mean, I'm going through a little bit of back pain right now, but other than that,
Yeah,
so, tell me about it. The last 3 days I've woken up, my jaw has been in so much pain, and then my back is just like it crackles when I turn.
You guys are freaking old.
Tell me about
well,
it.
I have you know what, you young whippersnapper. You're right.
I'm about to. I
You're
have
right.
one month, and then I join you in the ranks of adulthood.
Man.
June,
So have you guys been watching Obi-Wan?
yes. Oh
I
my
mean-
gosh. So good.
So good. Daddy McGregor.
Daddy McGuire.
You're right. Other than the illness I have contracted recently, I've been doing pretty good. Recently procured that Xbox, as I recently told you guys. So,
Mm-hmm. What about, have you guys been watching Stranger Things? Because season 4 just dropped.
I
On the same day as Obi-Wan, actually.
I tried watching season 1 when it came out, and it wasn't good enough for me to get hooked on it. So I'm not a Stranger Things fan.
You just didn't grow up in the 80s. And yeah, I'm kidding.
Neither did you.
Neither did I.
That's the joke.
I'm in like the middle of season 2, so I can't really just be like, season 4, yeah.
Right. Well, the fact that you watch Stranger Things at all, I'm that's good
Mint.
because it's a good show.
I couldn't get into it.
Did either
I
of
thought it
you
was
watch Miss Marvel, which premiered yesterday on Disney?
Yeah, no,
Plus?
I didn't realize I had premiered until this morning, and I've been
what?
at work all day. So, Miss Marvel is the next new Marvel show about.
Yeah, she's the Muslim American
Miss
like
Marvel.
teenager
I'll have to watch.
that's got like stretchy powers.
Oh, so it's
Yeah.
just John Krasinski.
Yes, John
Identity
Krasinski's
theft is
Muslim.
not a joke, Jim.
You guys all saw Multiverse of Madness, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. When he came on screen, I went, Krasinski?
Dude, the theater. Okay, so I watched it. So I watched that movie the day before opening day because this theater I went to had a special premiere. So I went to the day before opening, and
Wow.
the theater went absolutely nuts when he came on because that's been a
How many
fantastic.
people were in there with you?
Oh, I mean, it was packed. It was absolutely
wow.
packed. But yeah, I mean, that's been a fan casting for years for him to play
Dude,
that
that
character.
and Patrick Henry coming in as Professor Xavier.
Patrick Stewart.
That's what I said, Patrick Stewart.
You said Patrick Henry.
You didn't hear that, Brian? You didn't hear him say Stewart? I did.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. But
Yeah.
that movie was great.
I love Scarlet Witch and the Multiverse of Madness.
Dude. Probably the hottest antagonist we've had in the MCU.
I'm not saying you're wrong.
Multiverse. Yes. 100% yes. I'm jealous that those kids get to call her mommy.
Yeah. I was watching that scene and I was like, she can tuck me into bed anytime.
Yeah, no, literally, I went to see it with a couple of friends, and my friend Layla was sitting next to me, and we were like, anytime she comes on screen, it was mommy.
Cha-cha-cha-cha. Oh, man.
And Brian's leaving.
Yeah, Brian, where are you going?
I'm just taking off my jacket, and I didn't want the mic to pick it up.
Hey, fair enough, man.
Have you seen... Okay, so one more thing before we get started. Have you guys seen the new Top Gun movie?
No.
Bro, oh my gosh. So you know our last episode, our top 10 movies, I think that was last episode. Top Gun is in like my top 5. This one probably would take that spot and bump it down one. I mean, it is absolutely amazing
wait,
movie.
Brian, what the heck happened? You were like, you want to go see the Top Gun movie? And I was like, sure. And then you never text me back.
Oh yeah, because Monday came and I got super busy with work, and then afterwards I completely forgot. And then a week later, I was like, I wanted to ask again, but then Addie said you'd been having issues with getting sick and stuff, and so I was like,
issues with getting sick.
I was like, I'll just go watch it because I really wanted to. So,
bruh.
Hey, dude, okay, get this. It's really good. It's so good. I'll go with you again as soon as you're not sick.
Okay, that's fair.
I'm in
100
too, bro.
I'm 100% down for watching that movie again.
I want Jake to go with
Absolutely
us.
gorgeous.
Yeah.
And I watched
Jake's
it
over
on,
here like, hold on.
I watched
you
it
can't
in
do
IMAX,
this
dude.
to me.
I watched it in IMAX. Oh, so gorgeous. Oh my gosh.
Dude, we'll be going right into the danger zone.
Yeah, I saw the trailer, and the person that they cast as Goose's son looks so much like
him.
Goose. I was didn't Goose die? What's going on here?
Oh yeah, no, I don't want to go into this.
Spoiler alert if you haven't seen Top
I'm
Gun.
not going to spoil. Well, that
Okay.
you just mentioned the trailer, but yeah, no.
Yeah.
Oh, I
absolutely amazing, so.
mentioned the first movie.
Oh, right. Yeah, was it 1970 or 1976? I believe is when it came out. So it's not really a spoiler alert.
There's people
Well,
who might not
been
have
out-
seen it.
there are
It's been
always
out
new
for-
people being born and brought into the world, so it's like, give them a fair chance to
There
grow
are
up
people
and
who
see it.
haven't seen the prequels.
As soon as my kid
Yeah.
turns 5 years old, he's watching Top Gun.
5.
You're gonna name him Maverick?
I might.
All right,
let's
why
get
don't we
into
get
the
it? Why don't we
episode.
get into them?
I had
Yeah,
one
we're
more.
already-
I just one
already-
quick question I wanted to ask you guys.
The answer is probably no.
So, well, just hear me out. Okay, I was recently watching my favorite YouTubers do a Let's Play, and they were talking about, they were like, pro tip, you guys, if you ever get up to pee at night, close one eye when you go to the bathroom, and then switch eyes when you go back in your room. That way you can see in the dark and you won't like trip over anything.
That's what the pirates
But
do.
here's the thing, right? I don't turn the lights on when I get up to pee at night. Is that a normal thing? Do you just pee? Do you guys pee in the dark?
I typically just take my phone and use my screen. I don't, because I don't want the bright lights in my face. So.
Right? Yeah, exactly. No one wants a bright light when they've been asleep.
The bathroom light is usually on, so I usually have to struggle my way through the hallway to the bathroom. Blinded.
Struggle, dude. It's like 3 feet from your door.
But I'm blinded and I'm drowsy.
Blinded by the
light.
Actually, that's the reason that I unplugged my keyboard, because it has underglow. And I went to the bathroom. I came back in my room, my nice dark room. I was like, perfect. I can go back to bed. I lay down, and as soon as I lay down, my keyboard turns on for no reason. I was like, really?
Your keyboard's like, did somebody say light?
Yeah, and it wouldn't.
Who
turn
said
off.
you could sleep?
It wouldn't turn off, so I just unplugged it. And then you guys were like, all right, let's record. And I got on and I started typing in my PIN for my computer, and I was like, no, No.
It reminds me of that
can't do
meme where
this
it's
to me.
like, the brain is like, "Are you trying to sleep?" It's like me. Yes. Oh, shut up. Keyboard turns on.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. It was wild. There's a ghost in my room.
Yeah.
All right,
like,
let's
No,
get into
Jake.
the episode before we get onto another tangent here. Let's get into.
But I want to talk about pee-pee.
I want to.
Well, you can if it's as long as it's related to school.
Oh.
I'm sure you have a lot of school pee-pee stories.
Wow, what is that supposed to mean?
I don't
Means
know. I've
you
never
were
been
a-
to public school. They
means
have
you're
locker
a-
rooms. There are locker room talks. I don't know.
You don't go in the locker room unless you do sports.
And that's right. Jake's never played sports.
Actually, I'll have you know that we did go in the locker room to dress out before and after gym.
I don't have to do gym at my school because I got those credits in.
Because kids today are pansies.
No, because
Wait,
I already
really?
have those credits. Yeah, I already have the credit.
Interesting. The only credits I actually wasn't able to carry any credits over from middle school, although I did. I don't know if it's necessarily like carrying over a credit, but because I took a computer class in middle school, I like entered. They said, "quote You entered high school with computer competency," so it's like I didn't have to take computer apps my freshman year, which like everyone does. But then like I ended up taking it like my junior or senior year anyway.
Imagine having credit.
Imagine having a diploma. No.
I actually do have a diploma.
Imagine having a middle school.
Oh, yeah, Brian. Imagine going to public school.
Yeah, it must suck, doesn't it?
It sure does.
Have you had like school lunch, David?
Yeah. Yes. What do you? No, I starved.
No, well, I didn't know if you're the kind of person like when I was in elementary school. I literally had a packed lunch every day. I never ate the school lunch in elementary school. I'm just, for all I know, you could be the same way.
Honestly, I would always wake up like 10 minutes before I had to leave for school, so I didn't care to pack a lunch. And the school lunch was like pretty decent. Like you had the option to get pizza every day if you wanted pizza.
Yeah,
It
I
was
know.
like-
Yeah, in high school, yeah, there was always pizza, but not in elementary school. And you know, school lunch is always like that stereotypical. Oh, it's the grossest thing. It's this crappy quality, you know. But it's depending on what you get, it's not bad.
It was mid because it's school and they have to feed 1,500 kids.
Yeah.
So
do you at your school? Okay, so at my high school, you could either get like what the lunch ladies were serving, or like I think it was either Pizza Hut or Domino's. Just like always had slices of pizza there that you could buy.
Okay, so here's how it worked. Every day there was always like 3 main course options. There was always pizza, and there was always like either like a chicken sandwich or burgers, or you could have the option of like what was being served that day. And if you got like a main course and 2 sides and like a milk and juice, it was completely free. If you wanted like multiple items, you had to just pay extra.
Okay.
But you know me, the way I am, I would always like, so if you got like 2 entrees, if you got 2 main courses, like 2 slices of pizza, you had to pay like, I don't know, 50 cents for the extra pizza or something like that, or $1. But me not wanting to pay for pizza, I would like take a slice or like hide a slice under my slice of pizza, or I'd like put it under my tray, or like take my jacket off and like wrap up this pizza in my jacket and be like, "How are you doing today, lunch lady?" Who's checking me out and making sure that I'm not stealing anything, because I'm not. I would never. And then I'd check out
I'm
and
a
I'd be
good
like,
little boy.
"See ya, dork!" After I like stealing this slice of pizza. No. So that's what I did for most of the time. And then like I think one time when she was like checking me out, she was like, "Is there a slice of pizza under that pizza?" And I was like, "Oh my goodness, I didn't even mean to take 2. Thank you so much."
How do you accidentally, like, if I was her, I'd be like, okay, yeah, you accidentally grabbed 2 pieces.
Oh,
side
my
by side
mistake.
pieces, and you accidentally grabbed 2
I
of
would
them and stacked them on top of each other.
I would play it off and like was like, "Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry." And in my mind I was like, "Frick!"
Yeah. You heard it here first, folks. David is a thief.
David hit
And a liar.
Yeah, it's school lunch. It's already trash.
Take note of that. Any future love interest of David's.
That's
He lies
different.
and he steals.
That's different.
Don't we all, though?
Depends.
I don't know
on
what
it.
you're talking about. I'm a perfect child.
I don't believe you. So that's towards the end of the school year. My friend just started like he would get his meal and then be like, "Here, David, you can have this. I don't want to eat anymore." So I would have like just 2 full meals, and I'd just be like scarfing my face full. And actually, at one of the lunches, my friend Freddie was talking to my friend Ian. I was sitting next to him, and he was like, "Ian, I don't remember what we were talking about, but he was making some joke. He was like, Ian, I have a gun." And I was like, "Freddie, you can't say that."
Bruh,
And he
yeah, that's like literally no longer funny.
And he was like, "Oh." So he goes, he cups his hands, looks up and goes, "No, I don't." In the middle of the cafeteria.
Just kidding, everyone.
Yeah, it was
I actually don't. It's
Yeah.
a water
Don't
gun,
arrest
I
me.
promise. They wouldn't
So-
arrest him. They just shoot him on sight.
Yeah.
Unless they
Because-
were in Texas.
Yeah, unless
too
they're in
soon.
Uvalde, yeah.
Be like, "You don't have. Here you go, son. You're gonna need one of these."
Oh, here's some body armor while you're at it.
So-
Let's
Alright.
stray away from that.
Moving on. Let's
How about
let's
you, Jake?
rewind the clock and go
What
back
was?
to elementary school. The early 2000s. It was a time of
Weird.
confusion, and yet at the same time, we were just coming out of the 90s and breaking into a new world of technology, and I was a kid.
No.
Just born.
At age 6, I was born without a face.
It all started on the day that I was born, when both of my parents failed to show up.
Man,
Uh,
if I could sympathize with any quote-unquote villain, it's Doofenshmirtz.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
You mean you're from Gruselstein?
Yes. You
My
aren't?
gosh, I didn't
And
think it
your
was
arch
real.
nemesis is a platypus?
It might be.
You, you have
I was
like, I know there's like a term for it, but it's like facial blindness unless he's wearing a hat. Specifically a fedora.
Yeah, it works for Clark Kent. He just takes off his glasses
bro,
and
okay.
all of a sudden everyone's like, "Oh my god, it's Superman!"
Well, here's the thing, real quick. If you ever
No,
wonder,
elementary
no. If you ever wondered why that works so well, take a look at Zoe Deschanel with glasses and her bangs, and then one without her glasses and bangs. Completely different person.
Okay,
She looks
but that's
completely separate.
Superman and Clark Kent don't have bangs.
No, but they don't. But they have. He doesn't have the little twirly hair as he's Clark Kent. It's
One
slick back.
hair.
That could be enough, dude. That could be enough.
Like, if you looked at Brian with a little curly Q on the front of his forehead, I'd be like, "That's not Brian."
Yeah,
If
you
I,
lied.
Brian would never have a hair that long.
That's true. That's true. I like him. I like it short.
Did you just almost say, I like him short?
I like him short. I mean, I do. I'm not gonna
Yeah,
lie.
you do.
I do like him short.
Woo! All right, elementary school.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
No, not that short. All right, elementary school. Let's get back on topic here.
FBI, open up. Okay. So, gentlemen, let me ask you a question. When did you guys get your first crush?
Oh,
Oh, jeez.
elementary school. Like,
Okay, can you
obviously
be a little
not-
more specific?
I was probably 5 or 6.
Dang. Okay.
Right. Okay. What
But-
grade would that be?
I don't know.
Is that even a grade? Like 5 or
Yeah.
6? Is that like kindergarten or just out of kindergarten or something? I don't even know. I don't know.
Hold on.
Quick,
What
someone
age groups?
Google it.
What grade are you in when you're 6?
Just do 6-year-old grade.
That's first grade.
First grade. Okay.
Okay. First grade.
But that was before I understood what a woman was. I was like, I don't know. I guess I like this person. Is that a crush?
That's pretty
flash
early,
forward
actually.
to, flash
Like,
forward to 2022 when nobody knows what a woman is.
But
most kids at that age are like, girls have cooties, you know?
not me. I'm not like the other.
You were like, sup, ladies?
I think all
Yeah.
3 of us are a little bit different than normal guys.
I have the cootie vaccine.
I was a woman man since day first grade.
Day first grade.
Day first grade. Hold up. How many days? I'm gonna Google this. How many days from birth to 6 years old?
Like 100.
Oh, I see what
like
you're doing.
1,800 something.
It's got to be more than that.
Like two. It'd be like 2,000 something.
I can't just give you a straight answer. I have to pull up a freaking calendar.
You could
Okay.
do like you could
Here's
just
the rough estimate.
convert 6 years to.
There's 365
That's what
days.
I tried to do.
Oh.
It didn't work. You know what? You're
Take
right. Let's just do that.
Take 365 times 6.
Times 6 plus an extra that's 6, so it'd be at least 3 leap years or 2 or 3.
What?
Okay, so that's an extra day.
20.
just
He's right. You know.
2,193. So
I was pretty close.
you've been a ladies' man since day 2,193.
I sure have been.
Give or take a day.
give or take your day.
Yep.
All right. Well, I'm going to tell you the tale of my first crush.
How old
20
were
minutes.
you?
20 minutes in, we get to our first story.
Was my lunch stories nothing to you?
David's all. I'm
They-
not
okay.
to you.
They were, but I'm gonna be honest. I was looking at my phone, so
Wow.
Whoa.
I was
The
listening.
disrespect,
and I heard,
bro.
I can't believe you. I'm gonna look at my phone now. Just because
Wait a minute.
Jake just
It's
talked.
Jake's, Jake's story.
I know it is. All right, Jake, go
At
ahead.
least wait till Brian's the one doing it and tell the story.
Go ahead.
Joke's on
Okay.
you. I'm not telling any.
Her name was Hannah. She had blonde hair and blue eyes.
Brian.
No, I'm not Hitler, and I wasn't in love with her because she's the Ubermensch. Let me just be clear and get that out of the way right now. Also, her name is a
I don't think-
palindrome, and that's pretty cool. Yeah, I'm a nerd. Get
It's
over
true.
it.
That is very true.
So, I couldn't recall specifically, what grade I first developed these quote-unquote feelings. But I knew that she was pretty, and I liked that about her. That's pretty much how crushes work when you're that age, right? So,
Yep.
but I was a nervous Nelly. I always have been. Somewhat of an introvert. Although you would argue that you could argue that I was a lot louder of a person back when I was younger. But
Okay.
I was like always silent around her. It's like, have you guys ever seen like Yandere Simulator?
Yeah.
I'm not a Yandere, but like when you walk close to your senpai, the whole world like slows down and you like your heart beats like dun dun dun. It's not quite that dramatic, but yeah, it's kind of how it felt. And I remember like one day we were like going on a field trip and we were all on the bus. And I was sitting there, looking at her from across the way, and a couple rows back or whatever.
Sitting there.
And I see her, like, bring her hand up to her face. She sticks her finger in her nose, pulls it back out again, and puts it in her mouth.
Oh.
I was like, "What? I thought girls didn't do that kind of thing. I thought that was a boy thing."
Hey, wow, way to just ruin my first crush.
Actually, no. For whatever reason, my crush persisted, but that's not
weird.
the point.
See the
Listen,
girl-
man, I'm not. I didn't. Okay, I picked my nose, but I didn't eat it at that age.
watch a girl pick her nose. Man, she's so the one.
if can I be the booger she picks first? No, but yeah, and then like sixth grade, comes around, and this was like the last grade that we were at elementary school before we went on to middle, and I like, we're all going around signing each other's yearbooks, and at that age I gained a little more confidence, so I like, we signed each other's yearbooks, and instead of the letter O in my name, I put a little heart, and she was like, "Hey, Jacob, what's this supposed to mean?" And I was
Jacob.
like, I went as Jacob when I was that age. I'll get into that later. I was like, well, that's for me to know and for you to find out. And then we never talked again. But I tried to put a note in her locker in middle school, but like the way the lockers are built, on the inside of on the outside of the door, it's just it's got the slots, like you see in the movies or in TV. But then on the inside of the door, there's like these these like brackets that are made of the same metal that the rest of the locker is made of, and they cover half of the slots. So if you put your note into the wrong side of the slot, it just gets stuck in that bracket until and if it's like, if it doesn't happen to be sticking out of the bottom of the bracket, so someone maybe because I remember I like fished one out. I had to like really yank it out and like a really old note out of my locker the first time I opened it in middle school. But like basically, yeah, if your note gets in that bracket, it's lost forever. And I even like when I like typed the note up on like in Microsoft Word. I didn't handwrite it because my handwriting was freaking atrocious back then.
Dude,
but
same.
I even like I used, you know how you can like insert like shapes into Microsoft Word. I made a little diagram. I was like, make sure you don't if you ever reply, don't put your note in this slot bracket or I'll never see it. I was such a nerd.
Bro, it's okay. The first love letter I ever wrote to somebody, I gave to her best friend to give to her. Actually, okay. I didn't just tell her, like, hey, go give this to so-and-so. I wrote her name on the inside corner, and I was like, hey, when I walk away, look at the corner of this paper and give it to whoever's name it says. And then I walked away so I could watch from a distance because I didn't want to be near her when she did it.
I don't think I ever have. I don't know if I've written a love letter before.
And it really
That's
interesting. For me,
you know my address.
Like,
you can write one for me.
I'm just the thing is, since I've been a ladies' man since such a young age, I just always talked to the people I liked.
Wow. Okay.
Unlike you, like me,
Mr.
where you had
Mr.
to like
confident over
Unlike
here.
you, dorks, with your letters and your writing, I was too dyslexic to know what a word was. When I was
It's to
that
show
young.
off. It's to show off your penmanship.
I didn't have penmanship.
to
I
show
didn't
how-
know what the letter A was.
I
We were
felt like
showing
I was
off-
in a
we were-
movie though, because like I waited for her to go get some out of her locker, and then I like watched her from afar. I was like, all right, locker number 652. Okay, that's where I put the note.
Dude, that's so creepy.
What?
That
That's
is
not creepy. Not at that age. I was in seventh
was-
grade. Give me a
It was
break.
it was middle
a
school.
It's cute at that age.
You were cute at that age.
Oh, thanks.
All
All right.
All right, back
now.
to let's see.
2319.
2319. What school are we in? Middle school?
Elementary. We're still in elementary. So yeah, like David talked a little bit about having crushes. Brian, I don't think you have it all.
I'm not gonna lie. I have no idea what grades are in elementary school, dude.
So
First,
it's a
second,
little.
third,
It varies.
fourth,
For me,
second,
it was
third.
2 through 6. I was
It's
literally
like-
the same school for 7 years of my life.
Okay, well then, what's middle school? Where does middle school come in?
6,
7,
7,
8.
8.
Or yeah, in some places it's 6 to 8.
Oh, that's right, because high school goes up to 12.
Yeah.
Wow.
Good job, math.
You can tell that's my homeschool brain right there. I don't know.
Yeah,
squat.
this is
smooth
I don't know
brain
You're
time.
squat
supposed
about
to be.
school.
You're supposed to be better, Brian.
Yeah, I'm smarter in a lot of areas than a lot of other public school kids, but that doesn't mean I know what grades go where. I
went to.
I never had to keep track of that.
I went to one of my friend's birthday parties a couple years ago, and there was a ladybug in the house, and it started flying around, and I was like, "Oh my goodness, a ladybug!" And they were like, "Keep in mind, they were all public schoolers. I was the only homeschool kid there, and they were like, ladybugs don't fly." And I was like,
What?
"Are you guys dumb?" like, yeah.
Bro,
Do
there's
you
a
think
whole
that's
season
stupid?
where they come out.
I
and
was
fly.
like, it's. I'm looking at it flying around the room right now. I was like, my friend had like a Siri or an Alexa or something. I was like, "Hey Alexa, do ladybugs fly?"
Oh my
I was
gosh.
that was the most mad I've ever been, and from that moment on, I didn't trust the public school system whatsoever.
Oh, you know what's funny? A couple days ago, we were talking about George Washington at work,
What?
and okay, well, it,
You know
it
what's
got-
funny?
Here's the thing. It got way off topic because we were talking about religion, and then it got onto the subject of one of my coworkers, as a joke, was like, "Jesus is fully American," and we're like, "What?" He's like,
Amen.
"Yeah, he was born in America." And we're like,
He was born
"I don't
in
think
America.
so." And he was like, "Yeah, George Washington is Jesus reincarnate." And we're like,
What
the heck was that?
Everyone knows
But
he
then,
was
like-
born in Bethlehem, Kansas.
Yeah, don't you
But
know?
then, okay, so I got say this, but one of my coworkers was like, "Dude, George Washington, great politician, but he sucked as a general." And we all like looked at him. We're like, "You mean the guy that took a bunch of hillbillies and beat the strongest empire in the world at that time? Like that's a bad general? Like where are you getting your stuff here?"
Hey,
Well,
I remember
public school system right there.
in that one
Yeah.
musical they talk about George Washington.
That one musical.
Shout out to that one episode of the Super Mario Bros. Super Show where they did a parody of the time they crossed the river. It's like the river that he crossed to like sneak around the British. What?
Delaware.
Yeah, the Delaware River, and it was General Washing Toad.
The fact that you can't remember that is another testament to the failure of our public school system.
Yeah, I'll agree with you there.
I actually had an audition for Grease a couple days ago, the musical, and I sang "You'll Be Back."
No, the country.
But I sang "You'll Be Back" for my audition.
That's awesome. A good song. I like that musical.
Okay, so you still didn't answer the question, Brian. Any crushes?
I've been avoiding it.
Come on, don't be shy.
Yes, of course I had crushes in elementary school. I had... Well, this sounds so dumb talking about it now, but homeschool co-ops. I actually did, I mean, off the record because I was too young to be having girlfriends, but I did have a girlfriend back in elementary school.
I mean, what did that word even mean?
Nothing. Yeah, literally nothing.
Holding hands, maybe.
I think her name was Sarah something. Little redhead. I mean, she was really cute back in the day. I've actually seen pictures of her recently. She's not that attractive anymore. But
oh god,
yikes!
Just savage, Brian.
Yeah, she's never gonna listen to this. So, yeah, no, her name was Sarah. Little redhead. Really liked her back then. And
Sarah Whittle.
It was weird. It was really weird. I don't know. Not much to tell about that one. My I don't want to say endeavors, but endeavors, I guess. My adventures in relationships didn't start till high school. So,
do you know what? That's fair. Honestly, I think any earlier is too early.
Honestly, I would argue that anything earlier than a junior year in high school is too early.
Yeah, that's what I'm...
Yep.
Here, basically, you disagree with me.
Well, yes, but from what it sounded like, you were counting the first 2 years of high school as perfectly okay. And I was...
I'm not...
Slightly.
Okay, alright. I just didn't specify. I was just saying you definitely shouldn't date in middle or elementary, is what I was trying to say.
There you go. That's fair.
Like, if you're really jumping at the bit to date someone out there, you should at least wait until freshman year, if not a little longer. Is my point.
Yeah. No, I didn't start getting serious about women until high school.
Women.
The other great mystery of the universe.
But Brian,
other than time travel.
When did you start getting serious about men? When did that happen?
Day one. No.
Day one.
I came out the womb.
370s.
Why do you think my first word was daddy, huh?
Oh, jeez.
Riddle me that, Batman. Sorry about that.
So many jokes I can make, but not on this podcast.
This is a Christian Minecraft server.
Yeah. Amen.
Preach it.
That's a proper response. Thank you.
Let's skip past elementary school and middle school, because unless you have some actual... Wait, no, okay, you know what? I take that back because I, for some reason, got the assumption we were just talking about our crushes now. Okay, let's move on to other stories.
Well, we can... Okay, yeah, I was going to say, David, did you have any more to say about crushes?
I don't think any of them ever became of anything.
I know we're doing an episode later on about our experiences with women, aren't we?
I think so, probably. Stay tuned, ladies.
So, yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, no, I don't think
just kidding.
An episode you want to stay tuned for.
Actually, if there's any...
Just for laughs, it may be funny.
Just skip over that episode, but actually, if you could just go to YouTube and play through it while your computer's on mute, that way I still get the views and click the like button.
Yeah, just pull it up, click the like button, and subscribe if you haven't already.
Yeah.
No. Other than that, I would like girls when I was younger in elementary school, and I would say hello to them and stuff, and that'd be
hello.
It's Chief. That's
wow, lady in my head
they would never
stud muffin.
I don't think they would ever try to talk to me ever.
Nah.
But I would be like, "Hello, ladies," and they'd be like, "No."
No.
So,
Hard no.
Yeah.
Bro, okay, so I mean, I'm fairly certain you guys didn't, at least David didn't have this too much of an issue because, I mean, you had a phone at a fairly decently young age. I did not. I didn't have a phone for, like, a long time until I was, like, 17 and got my first job. I wasn't able to have a cell phone. So, my issues before then was having to ask girls for their emails instead of phone numbers.
Yeah.
That was how we... That's how,
style.
yeah, I know, that's
Let
how
me
we
get
had
that
to
AOL
communicate.
Instant Messenger tag, baby.
I don't think I ever asked I didn't ask someone for their number until, like, middle school. Like, the very end of middle school.
I didn't even have a phone until middle school, so...
Lucky.
I mean, I had the home phone, but, like, that's not the kind of... Unless this is, like, the 80s or the 90s, that's not the kind of phone you call your girl on anymore.
No.
Anyway.
Well, okay. That awkward silence. I may cut that out. All right. So what's next? We've been through elementary school crushes, middle school crushes. This may be just something I've seen in TV shows. Do people actually get swirlies at public schools? Is that a thing, Jake?
Not as far as I know. Although I did there. You know what? There is a tangentially relevant story that I have that I wasn't originally planning on telling, but since you brought up toilets, I'll go ahead and tell it. So,
right.
one time as a child, so the way they don't really do this in high school because you're like almost adults at this point. So neither of you would really probably know about this experience, but like when you're in elementary school, the teacher takes your entire and like you have to go to the bathroom. There are like planned stops at the restrooms, like when you're going from the classroom to the gym or when you're like coming back to the classroom. So the whole class will stop, and those of us that have to go to the bathroom, they'll line up at the bathrooms and at the doorways, and then everyone else will like line up on the wall opposite the bathrooms, and then they'll wait on the people to like go to the bathroom, and meanwhile the teacher's standing there the whole time, like making sure we're not screwing around. They'll occasionally like stick their head in the door and be like, "Hurry up in there," So
yeah.
That's happening one day, and I'm in the bathroom at a urinal, minding my own business, when a classmate of mine
pants on the
was,
floor.
What?
With the classic pants on the floor maneuver.
No comment.
Yeah.
So, anyway, this kid, one of my classmates, comes up next to me, and he's not at that point. He was not necessarily known for his intelligence. In fact, ironically, he loved to watch The Simpsons, and one could accurately compare him to Homer. But the point is, he came up to me and he said something like about like having the homework. Like I have always and always will hate homework. It's a terrible mechanic of the public education system, and it sucks. I hate it. Anyway, he was like, "Oh, we're gonna have homework today," or something along those lines, and I was like, "Yeah." I said something like, "Yeah, but you'd have more fun if you stuck your foot in the toilet," or something. I said something dumb and sassy like that, right? And he goes, "Okay," and he like disappears from my field of view, and then just like I hear like a splash, and then he goes, "No!" And I like turn around, and he walks out of the stall, and his shoe is all wet and dripping water. I'm like, did you stick your foot in the toilet?" He's like, "Yeah, you told me it'd be fun." I was like, "All right. I'm gonna wash my hands and go."
Mike Wazowski from Monsters.
Oh yeah,
Bro.
but yeah, Mike didn't do it on purpose. In his defense, he was hiding.
That's true.
No.
Or
Yeah, he loved to.
we know of. He didn't do it on purpose.
Yeah, that kid loved to say "dough" like Homer Simpson.
No.
It was like his favorite thing. He loved The Simpsons, despite the fact that it's an adult cartoon, and he was a kid. I guess you could argue it was a little more tame. Well, I don't know. I feel like if you're a kid and you're watching The Simpsons, the most you're going to get out of it is like the visual gags, the physical comedy, and the colorful art style.
Yeah.
But 90% of the jokes are going to go right over your head.
the high school experience, from what I've seen from my first year being there, is so much different than how it is on like the media.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
It's absolutely nothing like you would expect to see. Like, what kind of bell did you guys have, Jake?
So it was a short electronic pulse, like.
Yeah, that's exactly how mine was. It was just
Yeah.
boo, and then like there was no ringing, there was nothing. It was just this like sound of Satan coming through the intercom.
And it's just it's on the intercom. There's no like physical metal bell on the wall that goes.
No, yeah.
It's not.
Which
This
is
isn't
what
like
I was-
1995.
Yeah, that's what I don't know. That's what I was expecting, and absolutely nobody cares about anyone at high school. Like,
Where on your first day, where you're like, "Crap, I'm late for school," and then you like skateboarded while "The Power of Love" by Huey Lewis in the news playing in the background.
like you show up to class late, and like that's that. Like nobody cares. And like just the
Yeah.
experience I got was so. There was a lot of fights though at my school. Like,
Oh yeah, no, that is a thing that happens a lot at public schools. Fights.
yeah, there's a lot of fights. I think the most we had was 8 in 1 week.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and like
that's pretty
so-
ridiculous.
there was like the way the school is. If you go in, there's like the student side, and then there's the teacher side. You know, you go in from the student parking lot. If you go in late, you have to go in through this little like box office
The
thing.
box of shame.
The box.
Yeah,
The
there's like this.
airlock.
There's this box office where this lady is, or like this person is at like a computer, and that's like where all the cameras and stuff are. Like,
Yeah, and she's got to hit a button and let you in, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like there was a fight,
Security?
and it's not necessarily security because there is an SRO office, but like one of the glass panels that's there like got shattered because of a fight.
Oh,
Like
wow.
some kid threw this kid into the glass.
So you could like crawl through the door or the window or whatever.
It wasn't completely broken, but it was like
Oh.
shattered.
Right. Okay.
It was
Dang, dude.
yeah, it was crazy.
I
Can
didn't
you
have to worry
imagine,
about
like-
physical fights. I just had to worry about verbal assaults from my siblings.
You
so.
guys never fought, dude.
Not
here's the-
physically, no, because it was always. Well, first of all, I would always lose to my older siblings, and my younger siblings would always lose to me.
That's
You
fair.
never like
I-
pulled your sister's hair or anything like that, though.
No,
Oh.
no.
Really? What kind of
Oh,
a freak
no.
kid were you? No.
Yeah, what the heck? I had to,
Well,
dude. I was the youngest. I had to do what I had to do to survive.
Yeah, my problems weren't. They didn't physically attack me. We never had any physical altercations really, except for like maybe throwing something across the room. But no, yeah, all of mine were all verbal assaults. So
Here's the thing. Back in my homeschool days, the way me and my sister's desks was they were in the living room and they were side by side. So
yep, I remember that.
yeah, that's how it was. And I was trying to do my schoolwork, and my sister was trying to do hers, and she was like talking to herself or like singing or something, and was being very annoying. And I told her to stop multiple times, and she didn't. And at one point, I said, "If you do not stop talking, I'm going to throw something at your head." And she didn't. And I picked up this little digital camera that I had on my desk, and I threw it right at her head, and I hit her in the head with it. And she was like, "Oh, dude, that hurts so bad. What the heck's your problem? Why would you do that?" And I was like, "I literally told you.
I warned you.
I gave you multiple warnings." And she went to my parents and was like, "David did this. He threw a camera at my head." And they were like, "David, why'd you do that?" And I was like, "Because she didn't stop talking." And I said if she didn't, I was going to throw something at her. And they were like, "Okay, you shouldn't do that, but Addie, he's right."
No,
Like,
he's got a point.
He gave you a fair warning.
There were-
and
I-
just continued to ignore it.
Yeah, I mean, what was I supposed to do?
That's interesting though, Brian. That you never like fought with your siblings. Because I wasn't even homeschooled, and I had plenty of tussles with my sister.
Yeah,
No,
I fought with mine.
I mean, except for like maybe between me and my brother, but that's literally just a brother thing. It wasn't like.
I was gonna say, did you ever like play wrestle?
I mean, yeah, we weren't like fighting. We were just
Right.
wrestling around.
I got into a pretty big brawl with my sister. We ended up not talking to each other for like 3 days.
Oh wow.
But I mean, here's the thing. If any of us kids hit another one, the amount of trouble we would have gotten in was insane. So
Oh, okay.
we just avoided it altogether.
That's fair.
Which I mean, it may sound like cruel, like, wow, your parents are going to do something bad. It was like, well, it was a deterrent. We didn't do it. So, I mean, it worked. They didn't have to because we just avoided that altogether.
I don't even think, after I got into that fight with my sister, I don't even think either of us, like, apologized. Like, over the course of the next couple days, one of us was just like, hey, like, dinner's ready. And we were like, oh, okay. And then we just kind of started talking to each other again. It was very weird. There wasn't like a, hey, I'm really sorry for that fight we got into. And the other person was like, yeah, I know. No, it was my fault. It was just like, hey, so how's your day going? Like, yeah, kind of just hanging out.
Bro, siblings are so weird. You spend like 16 years of your life hating them, and then you just wake up one day and you're like, nah, they're all right.
They're all right. They're pretty cool.
What was... Were you at school, Jake? Were you much of a class clown?
A little. Like, I was definitely more outspoken in, like...
I dabbled.
Jokestery in middle school than I was in elementary school, I would say. Like, the older I got, the more confident I got in, like, you know, speaking out. Not speaking out of turn, because that, like, implies that I was being rude, but, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, talking when you're not necessarily expected to talk, I guess, is that, I don't know, it's a weird way to word it, but, like...
Right, no,
you know,
I get you.
As a kid, I was a pretty mousy kid, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But, yeah. Like, you know, there were a couple, like, assignments I had in middle school where I had to do, like, a one-person skit. I remember getting a lot of laughs during those. Anyway, though, I had a couple more elementary stories real quick, if you guys would indulge me.
I would.
No, absolutely not.
This one is an absolute banger. So let me ask you guys, if I were to say, hey, let's go junkin', do you guys know what that means?
I can make guesses, but no.
No, I've never
idea.
heard that.
All right, Brian, I want you to take a guess.
I'd rather not.
It's not, all right.
No, and it's just as like, I don't want to make a guess and it be wrong, because first of all, that's embarrassing and awkward.
It's
and
not
there's not enough information for me to go on, so I'm not going to make a guess.
All right, well, David, do you have a guess? Are you brave enough?
What is it? What's it? Let's go junkin'?
Yeah, like if I said, hey guys, do you want to go junkin' like this Friday night?
Oh, this is like dumpster diving.
Yeah, that's...
You're not far off, actually.
That's
all right, so do you guys know what, like, the term Big Trash Day means?
Yeah.
That would probably be more familiar to you. So,
okay.
For those of you who are, like, not familiar with that concept...
Oh, is that, like, where you go around your neighborhood and find what...
Yeah, well, it doesn't necessarily have to be your neighborhood, but yeah, like, there'll be, like... If you have, like, big things you want to get rid of, like furniture, like chairs or couches, or, like, tables even... Like, big stuff that you can't fit into a trash can. There are, like, designated days where the city will come around and they'll specifically pick that kind of thing up for you if you leave it on the curb, like, by your driveway. And, you know, the thing about humans is they're very wasteful, and something doesn't have to be broken for you to want to get rid of it. So, like, we would go around and we called it, we would go junkin', because, like, by and large, the stuff that we would pick up is junk. But, like, you know, we could still make it work. Like a table that's still perfectly functional. Or, you know, we found a couple CRT TVs that were still working perfectly fine. And, you know, good times were had by all. Because, like, it would be my family and like, the neighbor families. And we would all pile into, like, 1 to 2 vehicles. Like, usually we would take my dad's red pickup. A lot of memories with that truck, and he had this, like, searchlight that he would pull out and shine on, like, whatever junk we were looking at that we might want to get. And this is an important, like, context to what's about to go down here. So, did you guys ever hear? I have to, like, look up. Hold on, I have to look up who this is by, because
I thought you were actually about to look up. I have to look up.
No,
I have to look up
because I don't remember the artist for the life of me. Let me, real quick, did you guys ever hear this song, What You Gonna Do With All That Junk in Your Trunk?
Yeah.
Oh, it's My Humps by Black Eyed Peas. You know what, I've, like, suppressed that memory and you'll learn why in a second here. But
that whole sentence was a wild trip.
Okay, so for those of you who have never heard the song "My Humps" by Black Eyed Peas, the first two lines of the song are as follows: "What you gonna do with all that junk inside your trunk?" Now, I have a couple of cousins and they're girls, and at the age when I was like in elementary school, like early to mid elementary school, they were like teenagers, right? Teenage girls, and so they were listening to this kind of music, and also it's the Black Eyed Peas, so it was popular at the time, and so the first time I heard that song, I think it was like my parents were just singing that like first line, right, while we were junking. Because it's, it's comedic. They're going junking, but it's not, this junk in the song is not actually that kind of junk. But, little kid me didn't know that. And then, I heard the rest of the song, at least like the rest of that, the next like part somewhere in here, when my cousins were listening to it, my teenage cousins, who were, again, teenage girls, listening to all kinds of music. And I'm looking at the lyrics right now, and I want to spend like 5 minutes of silence reading through it all to try to find... Oh, here, I found it. Never mind. So, there's a later couple lines in the song that are as follows. "What you gonna do with all that ass inside them jeans?" It is basically the same as junk in your trunk, but obviously different and more, it's a bad word. It's the A word, right? Yeah. So, But I had never heard that word before as a kid, right? So I was like, what is ass? And so I was like, and I didn't associate it at all with like junk or trunks. But I was like, I knew that like generally when people sing about things in a song, they all have to somewhat do with each other. And I was like, junking is cool. We always put lots of junk in the trunk of our car. That's cool. And I remember one time my mom got me a jeans jacket, right? And like the one thing I knew, I didn't know much about fashion, and I still don't. But the one thing I knew is that jeans were always regarded as cool. They've taken many forms and shapes over the years, but generally speaking, jeans have never died. People still wear them today, just like they did many, many years ago. And I was like, jeans are cool. Perhaps this word ass is like the essence of cool. Like if you
I am ass.
Man, this vacation.
If you have lots of ass, it means you're really cool, right? I mean, technically that's correct, but that's not the point.
That is correct.
I mean, you're not wrong.
So like my mom got me this jeans jacket when I'm a kid. This is like maybe second or third grade, around there. And so my mom gets me the jeans jacket, and she's really talking it up. She's like, you look so good in this jeans jacket. All the kids are going to be jealous of how cool.
Mom, am I going to be ass?
I didn't say that in front of her. But I was like, we were all like lining up. We were like lining up to go somewhere from our classroom. And so we were like, we were heading outside, right? So and it was like chilly or something. So I grabbed my jeans jacket from we had our like, cubbies and our like hangers, hooks outside the classroom, so you had to like go out and get it and then like rejoin the line where everyone was. So I like grabbed my jeans jacket, I put it on, I'm like, yo, jeans jacket coming through with ass. And every single student in the hallway was like and they like turned and stared at me. And they immediately tattled on the teacher when she came back out of the room, and I got in trouble. But here's the ironic part: is like, a lot of those people that were in that group of students that like, gasped, went on and even as early as like 6th grade, definitely in middle and high school, to be the kind of person that like, drops an F-bomb in every sentence or so. You know what I mean? It's funny how quickly their opinion of such words changed.
Yeah.
So,
but yeah,
things.
that's like the time I got in trouble for thinking ass meant something else. Should we like mark this episode as explicit now since I said ass?
I was literally about to say that. I'm opening the floodgates because I will mark this as explicit. So anything goes now. Well, not anything, but
okay. Welcome to Time Capsule Podcast XXX.
XXX. I mean, our title is Jackclass, so I mean,
but it's still not actually ass.
That's true.
No, okay. So along the lines of thinking things mean differently, there's a Brooks and Dunn song. Let me look it up because I can't remember. I think it's just. I want to double check before I say it. So
see, he's going through the same thing I was.
Okay, so sorry, it's not Brooks and Dunn. It's Trace Adkins. It's called Honky Tonk Badonkadonk. Okay. And growing up as a kid, you hear the song, it's got a nice beat, it sounds cool, and you're singing along with it. You have no idea what the heck a badonkadonk is. Until you're starting to sing a lot in front of your parents, and they're like, you know what that is? And you're like, no idea, but it sounds cool.
Exactly.
But
it's like how you learn half of the words that you know, in your vocabulary at that age.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. And it's like, I mean, the whole song is just about like, hey, let's turn up the music so this girl will get out here and dance again. Like, oh, they're all whistling at her and all this stuff, and it's, oh dang, these words are a little bit more explicit than I thought they were.
That's how it was. That's exactly how it was when I got older and watched Shrek again.
Dude, yeah.
I was like,
Shrek?
what's happening? This is not how...
Don't be an ass!
This is not how I remember this movie
Do
being.
you think he's compensating for something?
Yeah, dude. There's like...
They
say so much stuff in that movie that I didn't realize. That reminds me. In Ice Age, the Meltdown, when...
Is that the third one?
I think so.
No, that's the second one.
That's the second one.
That's
yeah.
the second one?
That's
Okay,
the second.
sorry.
That's the one where everybody's migrating because the bowl is falling apart.
I mean, they're technically doing that in the first
but
one, but
something happens, like an iceberg falls on this beaver's dam, and the beaver goes, "Damn!" Because a little kid me was like, "Oh my gosh, that's such an appropriate reaction." He said, "Damn," because his dam is broken. He's talking like, so I remember something happened, and I said that, and my mom was like, "Why did you say that?" And I was like, because it's an exclamation. I saw it in a movie, Mom.
Yeah, I heard a beaver say it once.
Yeah, it's pretty much what I said. She was like, you can't say that. That's not a nice word. And I was like, oh.
You know what? That's
my bad.
That actually reminds me of another story about music.
Are we talking about school or not?
I know, we kind of got from tangent. One more thing, and we'll get back to school.
Okay.
So, remember, I don't have very many school stories, so I got to take what I can get.
That's fair.
There's a Luke Bryan song where, like, in the chorus, he's talking about like man, she's so damn hot and all this stuff. And I at that point that the song came out, I knew better than to say that, and so I didn't. And anytime it came on the radio, every time that word popped up, we would turn down the volume all the way and then turn it back up.
Classic.
Yeah, classic parent move. So we do that all the time. And then there was one time we were driving home, and we turned it down, and my sister Tiffany next to me is just like belting out the song, just so damn hot and all this stuff, and we're all like all of us other siblings were like,
it was very,
and then, like,
it was
nobody
killed
did
us all.
Nobody did anything until we started getting home, and Jake, I don't remember if you remember the house in Parkville, but it was
I love that house, dude.
Yeah, so it was at Wrist Lake. Well, you have the lake when you're going home. You have the lake.
Is that the big one?
Yeah.
Okay. You've got the lake on the left side, and then you have the dam, and then the dam wall, and then the woods.
Is this a story about Cameron?
No. So as we're going, I'm just the same story. So as we're going home, we get to that point. We turn off the radio. Mom's like, "So Tiffany, what is this that we're driving on?" And she's like, "The dam." And she's like, "Yes, that is an okay word to use in that context." But she's like, when it comes up in that song, it's not a good word to use. She's like, unless you're pointing to an actual dam, don't use that word.
I feel like did she clarify that they were spelled differently? Because I feel like that's important too.
Yes, she did. But yeah, the rest of us were sitting there like in complete silence. We're like, damn.
Oh, goodness.
All right, back to school.
All right, I thought of a really funny story. So my favorite class for this last school year was forensic science, because my teacher was just a really cool teacher, and it was a really interesting class. I learned a lot of cool stuff about forensic science and what forensics, all the different things that you can do in forensic science. It was a really cool class. It was my favorite part of the day. But one day I was sitting in class, and usually that class never started when the bell rung. Like, it would always be like 10 minutes or so after the bell rung before class actually started, because my teacher would just be doing stuff, getting stuff ready. So we're sitting there, I'm waiting for class to start. Where I was sitting, I was not in front of the projector, but I was in the middle of the classroom. I could see the projector. And the top floor of the second floor of our school was like the science section, the math section, and all of the people in the science wing petitioned to keep their projectors because we recently upgraded to Apple TVs. They were like, no, we want our projectors.
Fair enough.
So, there's a projector. I'm looking at it, and everybody has Apple computers, MacBooks, because, that's what the school supplied. Like, all the teachers had it, and you AirPlay to your projector to see, to have your lesson and stuff, your slideshows, whatever you need up there. So I'm looking at it, and I'm like, oh, there's the room to connect to the projector. It's, room. It literally just says, room 238. That's the room we were in. That's the projector. I was like, that's how the teacher connects to the projector. I'm walking through my head. I was like, I could connect to this projector if I wanted to. I want to connect to this projector. So I do a couple things on my computer before I connect to the projector. I have to get things ready.
Did you rickroll your class?
So, I start connecting with the projector. I pull it up. I'm trying to go as fast as I can, and it stops, and it has a code on the screen. It's like, enter this code into your computer. So I'm like, I'm trying to enter it as fast as possible, and my teacher is sitting at his desk. The projector is behind him, so he can't see what's happening. So I'm doing this.
Perfect.
Some snitch in my class is like, Mr. Shirley, someone's connecting to your projector, look! As he's turning around, I've already connected. He looks up at the screen. I press the space bar. And it was accidentally so much louder than I thought it was going to be. It was like maximum volume, because it like changed the volume when I connected to the projector. So it was so loud. So I let it run for a little bit, or I just let it keep running. He like scrambles around, he grabs his remote, and he turns off the projector. And I would have been absolutely perfectly fine. I could have been like, oh my gosh, who did that? Who would have done such a thing? But he looks right at me. I have my hand over my mouth, and I just start laughing when he looks at me. And he narrows his eyes, walks over to my table, picks up my computer, and is like, David, follow me. And I was like, crap. And as I'm walking out of class, he's already gone. I'm walking out of class. I'm like, well, it was nice being your classmate, guys. I say bye to all my friends. And he takes me to the stairwell, and all of our MacBooks have a cover on them. And he starts undoing the cover, and he's like, wouldn't it be a shame if your computer fell from such a height and no one believed that your teacher was the one that dropped it?
No one will believe you.
Yeah, basically that's what's happening. But he puts the case back on. He's like, okay, in all seriousness, you can't do that in anyone's classroom. But that was hilarious, and I very much did enjoy that. so he was cool with it. He was like, I wouldn't recommend doing that again or in anybody else's classroom. So we're walking back to class, and we're just like having a normal conversation. He looks at me, he goes, can you fake tears? And I was like, no, but I can like act super sad and like grab my stuff. And he was like, okay, yeah, do that. So I'm moping, and I grab my stuff, and I go out into the hallway, and I just kind of sit against the wall where no one can see me. And I hear him, he's like, David will not be joining us in class anymore. He has, they talk about it. They're like, what happened to him? He's like, don't worry about it. He continues teaching for like 10 minutes before he's like, all right, David, you can come back into class. And I'm like, hey, what's up, guys? Like, I'm still alive. But that was
classic.
That was one of the highlights of my school year.
That's pretty great.
It was very great.
That's funny.
All right.
I
may regale you with a dramatic reading before we shift from elementary to middle school.
Okay.
Well, we're taking this way too slowly. Let's jump to high school.
Oh gosh, all right. We're kind of going back and forth because no one else has gone to middle school.
That's true. We're not.
Yeah.
We're not sticking on a single school.
Yeah.
Obviously.
So, for context, in let me see, in the 5th grade, my teacher had us all write letters to our 12th grade selves. That would be senior year of high school, and she took them all and she put them in envelopes and then she sealed them away, and then she had us like, well, she, even if we didn't write our addresses down, she probably had them on file, but that's not the point. The point is, she mailed them to us, like when we graduated. I got mine like a couple days after the ceremony. I completely, totally forgotten about it, that it happened at all. So I was like, "Whoa, who's this random letter from? It says it's from me, but I don't remember writing this." So I opened it,
So it's a
and
time
here
capsule.
it is kind of like a time capsule in the form of a sheet of paper. And here it is. And this, I promise to you, is 100% verbatim. Dear 12th grade me, May 25th, 2010, Tuesday, May 25th, 2010. And this, by the way, okay.
Just trying to make
hold on.
sure you know
Yeah.
that it's May 5th.
Before I read on,
2025.
for context, this is like this is typed on in Microsoft Word in like 3 different fonts and then printed out on paper. And so, like,
It's like a ransom.
I was like the only one who typed anything back in the day because I had this disorder called dysgraphia, and it's a handwriting disorder. And
Yep.
basically, it makes your handwriting super sloppy, and it makes it really uncomfortable to hold a pencil for extended like periods of time.
Amen, Jake.
And it gets worse like as the more intensely you write. So like I've had like the ability basically to type instead of write for almost my entire public school career. Anyway, so yeah, the like the header that says like "Dear Me" and the date, it's all in like Times New Roman, and then like the main body of the letter is in like Calibri, I think, is like a plain looking text.
Mhm.
It's like writing in 5th
Yeah.
grade is dumb. In 12th grade, writing must be super stupid. I wonder what it's like and how hard it is. Writing an essay can be easy and it can be hard. I don't like doing writing. It's boring. With all due respect, and then in a cursive font, Jacob, and then in Calibri again, Jacob. This has been a dramatic reading.
Oh my God.
From
That's
the 5th
what
grade.
you wanted to tell yourself in the future.
Writing sucks.
Dude. When I had
You're
like
not
big
wrong.
fat
You're
assignments,
absolutely right.
I was an angry petty kid when it came to like assignments that I felt were stupid and dumb. Like I will say this was 5th grade, and my 6th grade teacher, who by the way was the only male teacher in that entire school,
Whoa.
except for the gym teacher. But anyway, my 6th grade teacher like unlocked something in me, and I suddenly was like, "Oh, you know what?
Unlocked.
When I get to write and have full control of the story and the narrative, I kind of like writing."
Yeah, I hated writing in high school. I don't mind it so much now because I like doing research.
Yeah.
So
No.
if I get a chance to do a lot of research, then I have no problem writing about it because I'm just taking stuff on.
That's one of the
researching it.
things. That's one of the things that I recently realized about myself is that history is not one of my favorite subjects, but I realized that I really enjoy history like a great deal. I love learning about history. I don't like learning about history when I'm forced to do it for a grade.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
when it's like,
Mhm.
all
That's
right,
a
you're
big
gonna
mood.
learn about this, but you're forced to do it, and you have to use these resources. Like,
That's
great,
the worst.
I can't just take my time and look up this thing that I'm interested in.
Yeah, I think being told to do something that you enjoy makes it less enjoyable.
If you ever go to college, David, you can be like, "Wow, this is infinitely better than high school,"
Yeah.
and yet still annoying in its own right. But yeah, I grew to hate essay writing again because like in 6th grade it was like write a 1.5, maybe 2 page essay, depending on the nature of the assignment, and as long as you have minimal spelling and grammar mistakes and your story is coherent, you're gonna get a good grade. And then in high school, even in middle school, it was like, I need 6 pages and 3 sources in your bibliography, and you better have 0 mistakes, or you're getting a D at best. Thanks
I
for
had a
nothing.
story, and then Jake, you went off on your little thing, and I forgot what it was. David, what were you just talking about before this?
I don't know.
Research.
I was talking
No,
about
no, it was
history.
before that.
Before that?
I rickrolled my class?
Yeah, because it was just after Jake had finished reading his paper.
I said, that's what you wanted to say to yourself?
There was something else, and it reminded me of a story about school, and I don't remember what it is now.
I said, I was like, well, you're not wrong. Like, yeah, writing does suck.
Yeah.
That's
when
all
you're
I
forced to
said.
do it, you hate it when you're forced to do it.
It's gone. Jake, you talk too much sometimes.
Hey, you know what? At least when I talk, it's entertaining.
I was going to say, at least
I'm
he
just
keeps
kidding.
the show going.
Yeah.
I'm really trying not to push the limit of the explicit content here.
It's just a bleep, a long bleep for the rest of the episode.
There you go. The next 20 minutes is just bleep.
Oh, no, okay.
Gosh, what?
David, you said
Curse my
you've
memory.
been saying since we started doing a podcast, and by the way, he hasn't been saying it on the podcast, but like since we've been doing it, you've been telling us that you had a banger of a story from
I did.
your first year in high
That's
school.
true.
I do. So,
Have you told it yet?
I
By the
have
way, for
not.
context, David just finished his first year of public school
I did.
in high school, so
Everybody-
that's why we're doing this episode at this time of the year.
Yes.
Continue.
So, it was the Rickroll story. That was one of them. But I have another, even better story. So,
Wait, hold up.
Wow.
The groan I just did, the wavelength on my Audacity looks like a dick.
nice. I'm very proud of you. Okay, so
Congratulations.
the way our theater is, the way the auditorium works, when you enter into the scene shop, there's 2 double doors, and we can't lock them because there's equipment in there, and our school is being renovated. It was being renovated for, the renovations are continuing, but so
Right.
we couldn't lock those doors, and some people figured that out and would just go in and out of the auditorium as they pleased, that were not part of the theater troupe, that had no affiliation to the auditorium whatsoever. They would just go in there to hang out. And this was during our fall production of Little Women. We were using swords for...
It was fantastic, by the way.
It was, dude. I loved that show so much. But we had swords. There was a couple instances where sword combat was needed. So we had our prop swords out, like laid out in the scene shop.
Are they rubber or wood? What's the
They were rubber swords with like,
Okay.
the way toy swords are with like the whatever's in the middle of them. I just made the worst motion trying to describe that. Glad my camera's not on. If I could find it, it would be. But anyways, there's the thing inside that's hard. Moving on. Anyways, so
Sounds like your mom.
it's passing period from 4th hour to 6th hour because our school is broken into blocks every other day.
Oh yeah.
So it was like 1:03 or something like that. I was going to my next class, and the way it was easy to cut through the bathroom, because why would I walk around go all the way down the hallway, make 2 lefts, and go and be at my class when I could just cut through the bathroom and be right there. I just used it as a shortcut.
You had a bathroom that had multiple exits?
It was, so the way it was there were 3 hallways on the bottom floor, and the main block where that was the social studies area of the school. So there was the first hallway that led to a bathroom that connected to the second hallway, and the second hallway had 2 bathrooms, and one of those bathrooms connected to the third hallway. So
Okay.
you could go across every single hallway just by going through the bathrooms. So people, they were known as the passing period bathrooms until some newer bathrooms got installed later at the end of the school year that actually had solo doors that was its own stall that you could lock that said occupied. It was so nice. My English class was on the farthest hallway away from those, and I would still walk all the way to the other side of the school to go use those bathrooms because I'm a man that likes to poop in peace.
Respectable.
Yeah.
I one time wandered around all of senior camp just trying to find a place to poop alone.
Yeah, man, you need that fortress of solitude.
We weren't allowed to use it.
Until they banned us from it.
Anyways, not the point. So I go into that bathroom, I'm walking through, and I stop in my tracks because I see someone stuffing a sword down their hoodie, down their pant leg. I can see this happening, and he stops and looks at me, and I kind of like smirk because I know that's one of the swords that we've been using for our production. So a couple things ran through my mind. I was like, do I ignore him?
Is that a sword in your pants, or are you just happy to see me?
I thought about saying that, but I was like, I should probably be a little more serious about this because this is one of our swords. I don't want to ignore him.
Was this kid not a drama kid?
No, didn't know this kid whatsoever. So I asked him, I'm like, hey man, what you got there? And he was like,
a smoothie?
He was like, nothing. I was like, yeah, really? Nothing? I was like, where'd you get that sword? He was like, I don't know what you're talking about. And I was like, no, really, where did you get that? He was like, I didn't get it from anywhere. And I was like, okay, that's fine. So I let this scene happen. I was like, do I follow him to his classroom? Like, do I just stalk this dude and get like the associate principal? Like, this is not his. Also, how did no teacher in the hallway see him with this sword? Like, so I just ignored it because I know that there's, I have my ways. So I go into my class, my history class, and one of my friends is in the thespian troupe that's in that class. So I was like, hey, Grace, I saw a dude with one of our swords in the bathroom. And she was like, you what? So I was like, yeah, I wouldn't worry about it. We can tell, the theater teacher later. So after school ends, we go up and tell her, like, hey, this happened. And then there was like a whole announcement for the like everybody that was in the cast, like, stealing's not tolerable, like, we're not gonna have that, we're not gonna stand for that. If you are caught doing something like that, you're gonna be kicked out of the show. And Grace was like, yeah, we recently saw someone informed us that someone was stealing a sword, trying to keep names out of it. And I went, it was me! I raised my hand, and I like waved it around. Everyone thought that I was joking about being the person that took the sword, but I was the one that, so like, I had to go and talk to the principal, like, and I was very detailed. Like, I was going from this classroom to this classroom at this time. The person was wearing this outfit. I was going from this way to this way. This is the outfit I had on. This is the backpack I had on. Like,
my bladder was approximately 32% full.
Yeah, exactly. Like, they had a detailed description. Like, this kid would have been seen going into the bathroom on the cameras. And later, the dude sends a Snapchat of him with the sword to one of the people in the play. Like, just completely caught. Like, we were like, how dumb can you be? So wow. That was the story of how I found someone with a sword in the bathroom.
Good thing it wasn't a gun.
Yeah, any other context that would have been so weird. I walked in on a guy with a sword in the bathroom. It's just like,
a lot of guys have swords in the bathroom.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I mean, you're not wrong. It's bothering me that I can't remember that story that I was going to tell.
Wow,
the farther we get away from it, the less likely I am to remember it. And it was funny. It was really funny. Oh, jeez. It may have been about writing class. David, do you remember writing class?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I mean,
it was
forget,
well.
right?
Jake was. I think it was Jake because he was talking about how essay writing can be difficult or it could be easy,
depending on if you have control of the narrative.
Yeah,
and like what kind of essay you're writing.
Maybe that might have been it. So, Jake, Miss Kim, she taught a writing class for other homeschool kids. So it was, me, David, Addie, my sisters. Well, I mean, that was the newer group. Back in the day, the very first time we did writing class with her, it was Kirsten, Heather, Mary, me, Carson. I believe Clayton was a part of it, but I don't remember exactly. And then there was a couple other people that were from church that were our age. So, the OG writing class group. And
yeah.
And we made a bunch of infomercials. Oh, I think Shelby and Cody were a part of it as well. But we made a bunch of infomercials, And dude, that was the beginning of my failed acting career because I mean I didn't do much in them. Like, so everybody she split us up into teams, and well, she split them up into teams. I was like an honorary member. I was just kind of there. I don't remember actually doing any of it. I was just kind of introduction for it. So I wasn't actually a part of the class. I was just there with them. And so we made a bunch of infomercials, and my brother and his product was the belly button delinter, which is basically a pair of tweezers with a straw that was cut in half, and then the straw was like taped to the outside of the tweezers, so it kind of like had made this little sheath type thing, and then he put Q-tips in the straws. So you basically had Q-tip tweezers.
Yeah.
Okay.
And, you would use that to dig around your belly button and get out the belly button lint.
Did it actually work?
It was not really. I mean, it was just, we just called it the belly button delinter, and it was like we had this whole commercial, this whole infomercial about it. We played the belly button song from VeggieTales in the background too.
I remember. Man, that was great.
And the pitch was like, if you buy it, you get an extra one free, and we'll also include this bottle or this box of refills, which was a whole box of Q-tips, but I mean, we had to cover up the label because reasons. But you get this whole box of Q-tips as refills for the belly button delinter, and it was absolutely amazing. And then Shelby's, she did, it was called the Estee mirror, which was a mirror that complimented you. So you would be like, it complimented you in riddles, and my dad did the voiceover for it. So he's behind the camera, and they're like, if you're ever feeling down, or you're ever feeling like you don't look good, or you basically you don't feel very good, just pick up the Estee mirror, and it'll give you a nice encouraging note. And so it would be like, they pick up the mirror, and it's like, how can you cheer me up today? And my dad would be like, honestly, I can't remember. It always rhymed. It was always like a little poem, like roses are red, violets are blue. There's nobody in this world that's prettier than you, or something like that.
Do you still have these videos somewhere?
They're somewhere, dude. They are somewhere. I don't know.
Let's upload them to YouTube and make a profit. No, I'm just kidding.
Make a profit. They might be on my dad's YouTube, but I'd have to go way back inside there. But yeah, no, my acting started. I don't think I was in the belly button delinter video, but I was in the Estee mirror when Shelby was going through her pitch for it, like staying like a salesperson, staying at a table, explaining, if you buy now, you get all this stuff and all this stuff. And she's like, just call this number. She puts it over to me, and I hop into frame with my little like sign with the number on it. And I'm like waving at the camera. I'm like, "Hi, Mom. I'm on TV." It's all like really weird stuff, dude. And then flash forward to more current writing class when we first actually got into like creative writing. Oh, the business stuff is a whole separate talk. Creative writing. She wanted us to create. Miss Kim wanted us to create superheroes, or were they superheroes, or was it just create a character?
It was just a character.
Well, so she gave us this like 3-sentence beginning to a story.
Is this about who I think it's about?
I think it is. Or if you're, yeah.
How recent is
this?
It was a hot minute ago.
Yeah.
I'm thinking like 6 years, 7 years, maybe.
Oh,
I don't remember exactly. It was.
Did you have like?
It was 15.
Miss Kim as a writing teacher for like 10 years.
No, it was
not for that long. But
it was a couple years.
I mean, yeah, I've had her. She taught me writing or creative writing stuff for like about 3 or 4 years.
Okay.
But anyway, so she gave us like a 3-sentence beginning of a story, and it was like, you pull, you're driving late at night, you pull to what looks like a pile of trash on the side of the road or whatever, and then you go and junk in. Yeah, and then you take over the story and you create whatever story you want, and everybody was like doing their own weird thing. I ended up creating this superhero character. It wasn't a superhero. It was more of an anti-hero, so kind of like Venom, where like he's a hero, but he's not a hero. He's I don't know, it's hard to explain. But anyways, it was a Minotaur. So really buff cow dude walking on 2 legs, massive horns, and his name was Beef Boy.
Yeah, Beef Boy.
Okay, honestly, give me 1 second. I actually have some stories with Beef Boy right next to me.
Guys, get this trending on Twitter. Hashtag Beef Boy.
Yeah.
Hashtag Beef Boy. I ran with that character for like the next 2 years, trying to come up with an actual story for him. Oh, jeez. Oh, I have so many papers.
All right, how do you think I have time to tell a quick story while you're doing that?
Absolutely.
All right. We're gonna fast forward to middle school for me. I'm in 7th or 8th grade. So it was only 2 years, and I was in the middle of puberty, so it's all kind of a blur. But one thing is for certain, and that's that I had braces during that time. I don't remember. Did you guys have David? Did you have braces?
I never had braces.
I have.
I'm a perfect.
Oh
person.
yeah. Okay. You'll never know the pain, David. Brush your teeth,
true.
bro. Not that brushing your teeth can prevent braces, but never mind. It's not technically relevant. Anyway, so I walk into my math class this one day, and this kid who's like known for being like a little rat is like, "Hey, does anyone here have braces?" And I like kind of like put my lips around my teeth so as not to reveal them, and I went. I gave him side eye, and I went, "Why?" And then like these arms grab me from behind. Like he goes, "Get him!" And he's got braces, and these arms grab me from behind. And it's this fat kid named, I can't even remember. I think it started with a T. And he was the kind of like fat build where he ended up like playing football in high school. But anyway, he the way he grabbed me, and then like another like taller kid came out of nowhere and was like, "Hold him!" And he pulls out this like big magnet, and he like starts like slowly and dramatically moving it toward my face and mouth, and I'm like, no, and I like, and the way this fat kid was holding me, he was holding me from behind, but he wasn't restraining my arms or my legs for that matter. Like he was holding me in one place, but I could still move my arms around. So I like picked up a pencil from the desk next to me, and I stabbed it into his moob as hard as I could. And he was like, "Oh!" And he let go of me, and I like ran out the door. And I was like, "Teacher!" No, I didn't actually yell that, but I was like, "Gotta find the teacher and hide behind them so they don't attack me."
I gotta get out of here.
Yeah, I gotta get out of here.
You might not like it, but that's basically literally the plot of We Happy Few, the video game.
He's got braces, get him!
He's not happy! Kill him! I'm just saying.
So I found that original Beef Boy story, alright?
Oh, I'd love to hear
And
this.
it doesn't actually mention the name Beef Boy. That came later, but
Does it have a date?
no, I didn't date these papers.
Oh.
But the handwriting is absolutely garbage. So no, I'm thinking 2013 maybe.
Okay, all right.
Okay, so this is the setup that she gave us. Trash littered the highway. Foul-smelling air creeped through the windows as we sped past the mounds crouching next to the side of the road. Instinctively, I knew we had to hurry. And this is where I took over.
We were listening to Black Eyed Peas on the radio.
Suddenly, bright lights blinded me, and get this. Remember, I'm a Minotaur. I'm 8 feet tall. Suddenly, bright lights blinded me as Batman jumped up and charged me.
What?
I jumped out of the car and
Where
charged
is
him.
she?
I don't know why I was driving a car, but whatever.
I stood up, and then I jumped out of the car. Just like
As
Amber
Batman
Heard
jumped
in
up
the
and charged
Johnny Depp trial, bro.
I jumped out and charged him, my horns gleaming. He hit me first and sent me flying. My 8-foot-tall, very muscular body crushed a car, which I then picked up and threw at him, which connected with a satisfying thud. He got back up and threw what looked like a boomerang. I ducked it and charged, my horns sticking through his chest.
Oh, jeez.
I planted my hoof against his fallen body, and I let out a victorious bellow.
He's dead.
The origin story. The origin story of... Actually, that's not the origin story of Beef Boy. That was the first story, but I then created an origin story for him in a later story. Which was equally as bad.
Did Batman kill his parents?
Twist.
Dude, he just defeated Batman faster than like any villain possibly could in any of the Batman, like in the whole DC universe.
He just achieved like Bane's dream.
Yeah.
Don't die, bro.
Sorry, the water went down the wrong pipe. I was laughing. That's funny.
Man.
Uh,
I thought you were going to talk about Johnny Boris, Brian.
Johnny Boris the bull. Oh yeah. So that's another story, Jake. She had us sit down at a table, and we all started a story, and then we were just passing it on to the next person next to us or something. After that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
I got a
So
story like that.
so we're all like, we would write as much as we could until she said stop. Then we'd pass on to the next person, and so on and so forth. Well, Colton and I think one other person had the same idea where every time you get a story, you incorporate the same character that you've already been writing about. The character I had was Johnny Boris, a mole. It was like
the mole that like digs in the ground mole.
Yeah.
yes,
Okay.
but it was a spider-eating mole, and I specified that. So every time I got a story, I would introduce Johnny Boris, the spider-eating mole, and I would come up with a couple sentences with him in there, and then pass on to the next person.
Oh,
Get
yeah,
the next
it
one.
was like-
Johnny Boris, the spider-eating mole, and then pass on to the next person.
That's right. We like kept passing our notebooks in a circle.
That's funny.
I may have those. Oh, actually, you know what? I might have those on my computer.
Did we do it
But,
on
yeah,
our
no.
computer?
No, but I retyped them out because I wanted to keep them.
There were some.
But yeah, no, it was freaking hilarious.
There were
That's
some
funny.
weird characters in that class.
There really were. We created some bizarre stuff.
Man,
Oh.
okay.
Hold up. I remember the story I was going to tell earlier. Okay, so Brinley. You remember Brinley?
Yeah.
Okay,
Who?
so we're
Shut up.
Girl in writing class.
Shut up.
This girl in writing
This
class.
isn't about
I-
you.
I don't remember the direct assignment, but I remember we had. Oh, you know what? I don't even remember exactly. All I remember is what she got up to say. But we had to write something about something. I wish I
Wow.
remembered.
That's,
But
wow.
she got
yep.
up. She went through her speech, and it was supposed to be like a persuasive speech.
Right. Okay.
So you get up there, you try to convince people.
I
of
think
what
I know
you're
which one you're
about.
talking about. I think I know where you're going with this.
And my memory absolutely sucks. So I cannot remember what exactly she's talking about, but I remember the final line was like, "So, in conclusion, all Syrians are terrorists."
Yeah,
And we're
yeah.
What?
I knew you were going to
Where
get
does
this.
that come from?
Dude,
Oh,
I
man.
remember that. That was the funniest thing ever.
And this is coming from the shyest girl in the class who barely talked at
Weren't
all.
we
Wait,
out-
like what? How old were you guys at this time?
Oh, this
Oh,
was probably
this was like 2015.
yeah. Wasn't it? Weren't we like outside?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
we were
Yeah,
outside.
I
We were
remember.
outside.
I remember. Jeez, dude,
She was staying up on the porch. It was freaking hilarious, dude.
it was great.
Dude, that reminds me of like my sister had this friend named Isis, and like when the terrorist group came to rose up and like started becoming a thing in like 2012 or whatever. She like started going around and introducing herself like, "Hi, I'm ISIS," like the terrorist organization, but with a Y.
Hey man, that's a great conversation starter.
My name
I
is
guess.
Keith, like what you start with car with, but with a TH at the end.
Yeah, I can't do that with my name.
My name is
I'm just-
Bruce, like that guy who lost his parents. But no, I don't know.
Or, the Hulk.
I just go.
That's true. The guy who turned green.
I just go. My name's Bruce without the banner.
Hi, I'm Bruce.
Oh, have you guys heard that?
The
name's
name's
Bruce.
Bruce.
It's like,
Bruce.
man, I don't know why Disney doesn't put advertisements on the Hulk. He's basically a giant banner.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Have you seen the meme?
Probably.
Where it was like, I know, probably it's pretty famous, but it was like parents are wanting the Hulk to wear like some kind of shirt or bra or something because they don't want
Bra?
teenagers to be getting turned on by his massive pecs. And somebody was like, "Bro, who the heck out here getting turned on by Hulk titties? Like, what the heck?" You're just
Sounds
watching
like-
the Hulk, like watching the Avengers, and the Hulk comes out, and you're just like, "Oh, yes, this is what I'm waiting for."
Green.
Green. It's the green. It's the green. It's the green you need.
Oh,
In terms of high school or school stories, how we looking?
I still haven't told any yet, but I wanted to ask you, David,
Bro.
have you ever seen any of your teachers get like real stressed out in front of the class?
All the time.
Brian.
I'm talking like public school where they're like getting paid to do a job and you expect them to act professionally even though you and most of your classmates are probably acting like idiots.
Yeah, there have been a couple instances, yeah.
Okay, you can tell that in a second, but I wanted to just tell this last story from middle school that I was able to remember and write down. This is that time we made the band teacher cry.
Oh my goodness.
So I want to be clear. The only relation I had to this is that I was in the class that this happened in. I wasn't egging her on or being a bad student. I was just in the room, right?
Yeah.
Because I was in the class. I was in the band. So anyway, in 8th grade we had this band teacher, and she was an interesting character for sure. But
yeah, it's band.
Well, I bet I feel like a little more than the usual band teacher is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so my class was a particularly rowdy one, and specifically there was this kid who played the tuba who would always shout and speak into his tuba, whenever we wouldn't be playing, he'd just go, "I like raisins," or random crap in his tuba, and because he was speaking into a tuba, it would amplify his voice and get really loud, and it was very annoying, and everyone else was always rowdy, noisy, and talkative, and I was in percussion at this point in time, and there's another kid who always he would moan, and we're talking the sexual kind of moan. He would just moan randomly during the class, and one time he threw a drumstick across the room.
Classic.
It was a hectic class, if ever there were one. And at one point, she's just yells at us all to be quiet, and she's like, "Why are you guys like this? I just want to teach." Says something I just wanted to teach you how to play music, or whatever. And she just starts crying. And so she runs into her office, which was really just one of the 3 practice rooms that we had, but literally never used because they were all. She had the office was one of them, and then the other 2 were just storage. I was like, oh dang! And it was just dead silent while she sat sequestered in her office weeping for at least 5 minutes. We were all just sitting there.
Dang.
Yeah.
That's sad.
That is pretty messed up, dude. I guess you could say that was not ass.
Yeah, no.
Oh my god. All right, David, when have you seen your teachers freak out?
This was in the same class that I rickrolled, but there was this one during the second semester in the corner of the room there was this table of all girls, and because our teacher would always make the foolish mistake of letting people pick where they want to sit for the first unit. That was your lab partner.
Classic, yeah.
So they all sat with each other, and they would absolutely never respect when the teacher was talking. They would still talk to each other, and if he glared at them and did the thing of hey, it's my turn to talk now, you guys can stop, they wouldn't talk.
Do you have something to share with the class?
Yeah, well, one day I was also not helping this situation, and I was talking to my friends, and he was trying to talk about stuff, and he lost it. He was and I've never seen him do this before in the whole year that I was there, so obviously I was very taken aback. But he was "Oh my god!" And he was I was "I'm trying to teach the class, and you guys don't ever respect me when I tell you to be quiet. We are here to learn." And he blew up for a second. He was his face got super red. So yeah, that's how that went. It was very strange.
Jeez, dude. Y'all got some issues.
Oh, man. Alright. Now it's finally time for me to regale you with some high school stories. What do you say, boys?
Oh, I'm ready.
Go ahead.
I'm going to start off with this first one that I like to call The Legend of Natasha.
Oh,
now,
no.
Natasha?
Natasha.
Romanov?
No, sadly. That would have been cool and a little weird. But, no. Anyway. David, are you taking a foreign language right now?
I am.
Or did you,
French.
I guess?
I'm taking
French. Okay. Are you doing it again in the fall?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So, yeah, you know how... did they kind of, like, force you to take a foreign language? I mean, like, not force you, but they were like, you know, you kind of need one.
Yeah, they were like...
They push you toward it?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, that was basically what it was like when I was in high school, too. It was like, if you want to succeed, you're going to need a foreign language. So I decided to take Russian. Because the available languages that you could take at my school at the time were Spanish, Russian, German, and French. And I was like... This was before, this is back when Russia was cool. And so I was like, yes, Big Ruski strong. We will win this for Mother Russia.
Yeah.
And so I took Russian class, right? And the Russian teacher, she's even more of a character, an interesting character than my 8th grade band teacher. She's a little crazy, honestly. She had this, like, she just did so many weird things. Like, in the middle, like, of the school year, she shaved her head to almost as short as Brian's. Like,
jeez.
It was very short. Jeez. Yeah, and then she started wearing wigs. Because, guess what? It was winter and it was cold.
Jeez.
But, she also had a really nice BMW that she very boldly parked in the same parking lot as a bunch of teenagers who were learning to drive. You know, I was like, you know what? I respect how bold that move is. You're brave. I mean, granted, she parked pretty far away from everyone else, but, like, still, everyone drove past her to leave. If you were parked in that parking lot, you had to drive past her car. Anyway, so David, let me ask you: when you ask to go to the bathroom during class, do they make you take a hall pass of any kind, or like do they give you like 3 at the beginning of the year?
There was a hall pass that hung up on the wall that you had to take with you when you went to go to the bathroom or get a drink or something.
Right, and it's probably just like a little like wooden placard, right?
It was just like a laminated piece of paper.
Yeah, a card on a lanyard.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So, yeah, I mean, I guess the wooden placards are like, that was like what I had in elementary school. Anyway.
So that's old school.
When I was in high school, most of my teachers, they would hand out like a printed sheet with like 3 or 4 hall passes on it, and you'd cut them out if you wanted to use one, and it'd be like, hall pass, use this if you need to go to the bathroom during class. But you could turn them in at the end of the year if you kept them for a couple points of extra credit each, and that was like to incentivize you to not pee during class, right? But the Russian teacher had a different strategy. So if you were a girl and you asked to go to the bathroom, your hall pass was just like a little, I think it's just a little like piece of wood with a string on it, so she could hang it on the wall. So you could hang it on the wall when it wasn't in use. If you were a boy, however, and you wanted to use the restroom, you had to take Natasha with you. Do either of you want to guess what Natasha was?
I don't.
Yeah, now I'm terrified.
She was the teacher's daughter. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
No, okay. So Natasha is what the Russian teacher called it's like the lower half of a mannequin, basically. It was like the waist, the butt, the crotch, and legs of a mannequin. Except the left leg was cut off at the knee. I think it was meant to be like bendable or something, and that piece was just not there anymore. So yeah, if you were a guy, you had to carry this like set of mannequin legs with you all the way to the bathroom.
Why?
I know, right? Luckily, like there's like two bathrooms nearby. There's one where you had to like go down a hall and then a little ways into the adjoining hall, or you could go down the stairs into like a private sequestered bathroom that almost no one used or probably even knew of, and that was the route to go. That was the route I tried to use every time, since I was toting a pair of mannequin legs with me if I ever had to go.
Yeah.
Talk about one heck of a way to make you not want to go to the bathroom in the middle of a class, but it did not. I'm pretty sure it's not. She's been decommissioned since I graduated. But that is the legend of Natasha.
I'd be going to the bathroom all the time.
That's Natasha. Interesting. I'm so disturbed.
Natasha
comes
back. It's like Natasha comes back one day with a bussy.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, literally, like when she wasn't in use, she was just leaning up in the corner against the wall.
I would walk around with that with pride.
I don't know if she
I
also
have
taught
Natasha.
French. I'm curious because she also taught French, and I don't know if she did it to her French students as well. Probably, but
Probably had a different name.
yeah, like
Cosette.
yeah. Thanks. I was definitely not going to come up with anything legit. Baguette Eiffel Tower.
Baguette. Take Baguette with you.
Take Baguette with you. What'd you call me?
Baguette.
Look at one of your friends.
All right.
Fred, let's go.
What about you, Brian? Any tales from your high school years of being homeschooled?
High school?
The
Not
high
really
school
funny
era?
stories. Although my senior year, so hold up 1 second. Sorry, my headset's dying.
Oh.
Senior year, I've always been into history. I love history, but I didn't like. It's like, okay, so it's like what we said earlier. I like researching and writing and stuff like that as long as I can do it on my terms. When it comes to school, it's a completely different situation. I loved history, but I hated doing writing assignments for history. So instead of doing writing assignments my senior year, my mom allowed me to do some research for whatever topic we were going over, and then if I had time, to jump into Age of Empires.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
and
nice.
recreate a historical situation as best I could.
Whoa.
And like there's there is all hail king of the losers. There was one time I jumped into Age of Empires 3 because I was studying colonial times at the time, and she wanted me to create a realistic colonial like settlement.
Dude, can you
So
imagine
I
if you
gotta-
had like Ultimate Epic Battle Simulator back then?
Yeah, dude, that would be amazing.
Gosh.
But so I got to jump in there and like build the walls and stuff. I had all the buildings laid out exactly how it was like described in the books that I was reading, and then how they kept everything, farms and everywhere, and it looked really, really nice. I ended up, I mean, obviously I passed, but yeah, no, it was probably one of my favorite parts of my senior year, because I mean, senior year sounds dumb to be doing video games for school, but like I was.
Are you kidding me?
enjoying it.
That's awesome.
Oh yeah, that was amazing.
Dang, son.
Yeah.
So since I failed math in high school, so I got extra credits in history, actually, ironically, in order to graduate, which it worked, but like, yeah, I had to get extra credits in something else in order to pass because I couldn't do math. I did business math just fine because it was actually like practical and taught you how to apply it to real world situations, and it was all like literally the most basic stuff, learning taxes, dividing stuff by, if you get a large shipment of this, what is the tax rate from, or the tariff rate from this place to this place, and then what are you going to pay in taxes? So then how much should you sell it in order to get a 48% profit or something like that? And it was like, actually, it sounds difficult, but it was really practical, and I really enjoyed it. So I was good at it. But I got like halfway through Algebra 1. No, actually, I didn't even get that. I got 3/4 of the way through pre-algebra and just I gave up. I was like, this is bull crap. I'm not gonna need these super long equations in life ever.
Yeah.
So I was like, what's the point of doing this?
That's exactly how I
And-
felt, so I resorted to cheating. I mean, wait, well, I totally earned my diploma in a legitimate way. Who are you?
Yes. 100%.
Yeah, no,
Who are
and
you?
like, yeah, it kind of bothered me because I would be, you go into church or hang out with people and they'll be like, people my grade and they're like, oh yeah, I've already finished calculus. I'm already on like this, advanced trigonometry. I'm like, what? How do you do that? I'm like, I can't even pass freaking pre-algebra. They're like, this is bullcrap. Like, I don't have the mind for math. But I did have
Were you
mind for
good at
history,
geometry?
so- No, I was not.
Okay, well, I found that there's like, generally, like, if you're bad at algebra, you're good at geometry, or vice versa. Obviously, there are going to be exceptions, but like, I've just found like, whenever I'm talking to people about that particular subject, that it's usually how it ends up.
I took integrated
Geometry-
algebra and geometry, so
Geometry is
Done all
geometry
this-
is proof that boredom comes in all shapes and sizes.
Fair enough.
Absolutely.
Stop asking me to find your ex.
I don't want to know about my ex. Okay, so do we have any more stories before we wrap up?
I do. I have a couple from high school.
Bro,
What?
have at it, Jake.
go ahead.
All right. Well, this one as takes place in 2014. Actually, that's an interesting question. If I say New Year's 2014, does that mean December of 2014 or December of 2013?
If you're talking about
It means
New Year's, then it's 2014.
yeah.
Like,
So
well, okay, so hold on. Yeah, because New Year's is New Year's Day. So
New
it would
Year's
be
2014. That would mean like
So it would be January 1st, 2014.
okay, no, then technically this would have been New Year's 2015, but like this took place, in December of 2014, leading up to
Okay.
the 1st of January. You know what I'm saying? So, this was my sophomore year of high school, and it was during this winter break of 2014 that I went with my marching band to San Diego, California. Now, I just want to say this for any of you out there listening, and David, I know it's a little too late for you, probably, but if you have the opportunity, join the band. At least in high school,
they
if
wouldn't
not
let
in
me.
middle school. I would understand if you didn't want to do it in middle school because there's not a whole lot necessarily to it in middle school, other than if you wanted to like have experience and build up your skill a little. That way you don't suck in high school. But yeah, the band or really any like extracurricular activity, especially like drama or choir or orchestra, like find people to be with because there's just that unity that I could feel within the band. Like everyone was there, everyone was music geeks about music, and we loved playing our instruments. It was a family for the most part, anyway. So just putting that out there. Join the band. Totally not biased in any way, shape, or form. But anyway, we went to San Diego, California, and well, this is like a kind of I had like two separate stories, but they like take place on this both on this trip, so we're just going to tell them both right now.
Okay.
So the chronologically the first story, even though I have it second on the list, is we're gonna it's called on the list. It's called boobtality.
Oh no.
So okay, I promise it's not as bad as it probably sounds. So when we were in San Diego, in addition to like performing, in various places, we also like went to various places for recreational purposes. And one such place was SeaWorld, San Diego. Now, there's only one roller coaster in that entire park because it's mainly focused on, well, sea life, the water, fish, and this roller coaster called the Manta.
I love
It's
that
kind of
roller
in,
coaster.
yeah, it's kind of in the middle of the park, and it's like an overhead one where you're like, you're in a chair and I think your legs are dangling, right? And you're like, I know you're going up, like you're like over the people that are like walking around down below, like the tracks are suspended up in the air, like not off to the side like some roller coasters are. It's like
I hate those.
Like you could drop.
I hate those types of roller coasters.
You could like drop your phone or whatever, and it might hit someone in the head. Like that's like where it is, right?
Yeah.
And so like, it's the only like thrill ride in the park, so the line is always long. And so, me and my friend group, we're waiting in line, and to kill the time, we decided to play a game of Ninja. Now, you guys both know what that is, right?
I love
Yes.
Ninja.
Yes.
Okay, just confirming. For those of you who don't, basically you stand in a circle, yell Ninja, and then you all take turns making one swift movement at a time, and it goes around the circle, and your objective is to hit each other's hands. And if you lose both your hands, you're eliminated. And then you just have to spectate and watch the rest of the game play out. So, this particular group consists of me, a couple of my friends who are also sophomores, and two freshman girls who my friends were hanging out and fraternizing with, if you know what I'm saying. And so this one girl, she's like tall, like way tall, taller than me, and my friend who's also a sophomore is like also tall, and I think they were hanging out, not because they were dating, but not because they were specifically because they were tall. And so we're all like, she's got one of her hands out in front of her, and I like had this internal monologue where I'm like, yes, she's a freshman, she's probably new to this game. I have an opening here. It's about to be my turn, and I'm in a prime position to strike out and hit her hand. And if all goes well, I can. This is like her last. She's already lost one hand, so I'll be knocking her out of the game, and maybe I can actually win this thing for once. So my turn comes, and I'm like, all right, let me just take my turn, you guys. I'm like trying to like stall so I can make it a surprise when I finally like lash out, and so I strike with all the speed of a very fast thing that I can't think of right now, like a Ferrari car or something. No, like a snake. Hi-ya! But she sees me coming, and she moves her hand out of the way, and my hand goes straight into her boob.
Oh.
Luckily it wasn't like hard. Like I didn't like punch her, but I immediately recoiled.
Probably
I was like,
hard
no,
afterwards.
I'm sorry. And she's like, it's fine. We're just gonna, and like normally when you make a move in Ninja, you have to like you have to stay where you ended your move, but she's like, you don't have to stay there. don't worry about
that comment went right over his head.
What?
I made a comment and it went right over your head.
I didn't hear you. I'll be honest. I mean, I was into telling the story. What'd you say?
You said it was like it wasn't that hard, and I was like, it was probably hard afterwards.
Oh my gosh! Look, I had a sword in my pants. Okay, no, I'm just kidding. It's not what you think. No, yeah. So that's boobtality. But now moving on to like the main part of the story, which I call missing New Year's entirely. Now,
catchy name.
What?
It's a catchy name.
Yeah. So I don't know how you guys. What are your like New Year's traditions? Do you usually stay up and like bring in the New Year, do the countdown?
Yep.
Yeah.
Red Lobster and some Welch's grape juice.
Dude.
Or Welch's grape cider.
Dude, that sounds like a dang good tradition. I'm all in for Red Lobster
is.
this year.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Red
You
Lobster's
order that
good.
and watch the ball drop.
Yeah, right. Okay. Yeah. That's a pretty normal tradition, right? Well, on this particular year, we like stopped at, we like stayed in like 3 or 4 different hotels during this journey, just for the sake of like convenience relative to the locations where we were playing and going, like, again, to have fun. And one such place we were going to have fun was Disneyland. And that's where we were on the 31st of December, 2014. And our hotel was literally walking distance from the front gate of the park. Like, you could see the wall from if you looked out the window of our room. And so, what we did for that day is, like, in the morning, we actually went to Disneyland and we marched in the like, New Year's Day. I guess I'm assuming it was, like, New Year's Eve parade, even though it was, like, in the morning during, like, broad daylight. Anyway, we, like, marched down the road, down, like, Main Street or wherever they march. And it was a pretty short route. And then after we were done marching, we like went back to our hotel rooms, changed into street clothes, and we were able to just run around Disneyland for the rest of the day, basically. Until, we had to get some sleep, obviously, because we had more performances the next days. But, yeah, so me and my friends were all just having a good time, riding rides and doing whatever in Disneyland. And it gets to a point in the night where, we're in Cars Land. Have you guys been to Cars Land specifically in Disneyland?
No.
No.
I've actually never been to Disneyland. I've
Me
been to
neither.
Disney World in Florida, but I haven't been to California.
Okay, so basically Cars Land is like a pretty much 1-to-1 recreation of Radiator Springs from the movie Cars, but it's in real life. And all the buildings are like, they're made for humans, obviously, not cars, but like you can see the Cozy Cone Inn, and you can see like you can go to Flo's V8 Cafe and get drinks and like all the other buildings there are merch shops and like there are rides there, Cars themed rides and whatnot. And this was like, as a kid, and I mentioned this in our last episode, I love the movie Cars. So I was like sitting here living my childhood dream, basically being in real life Radiator Springs. And I was immediately I was kind of running around and dragging my friends along with me. And eventually they were starting to get bored. And it's also worth noting that like I have one particular friend in this group who doesn't like crowds, and earlier that day he'd already had one like panic attack and retreated to the hotel room. And everyone in my group was like kind of starting to voice that same opinion, like, hey, can we go back to the room where we're getting bored? I don't know how, but they managed to get bored in Disneyland.
What the heck?
Like they for some reason the excuse of we've been here all day, they thought that would be a viable excuse. Anyway, I was able to hold them off for a while with the churro, but that didn't last too long. And so eventually I'm like, all right, I relented, and I was like, okay, let's go back to our hotel room. It is New Year's Eve though, and I do think we should come back and we should watch the fireworks. That's to be like in Disneyland on New Year's Eve. I feel like that's a pretty rare occasion, all things considered.
Yeah.
And so they're like, all right, sure, fine, we'll do that. And I think even a couple of them agree with me. They're like, yeah, all right, I want to watch the fireworks too. And so we go back to our hotel room and we turn on the TV. And at this point, it's like 11-ish, like 10:30, 11 o'clock. And we turn on the TV and we're like, hey, it's a Mythbusters marathon. Freaking cool, dude. I love Mythbusters. So we all sit around the TV and it's like the kind of room where there's like two, queen size beds. So like let me give a little more additional context. I feel like that's my catchphrase on this podcast, but it's context is necessary. Listen, context is important. I'll have you know. Anyway.
Yeah, so to give the context at the beginning, why you have to keep looping back to
I'm
it?
sorry, okay? I can't remember every little
because
detail
that's
at
when
the
it
right
comes
time.
up.
Yeah. Anyway, I for pretty much as long as I can remember have taken melatonin to help me sleep at night. Like, I pretty much can't fall asleep without it, or like at the very least, I'll be sitting there for like 4 to 5 hours in my bed, not falling asleep, just because I have like ADHD and stuff, right? So. I've been able to over the years like reduce my dosage level, but that's not the point. The point is, I had not taken my pill at the time, obviously, because I wanted to stay up and watch the fireworks. So I sat down on my bed and I like laid down and watched the TV with all my friends. And I had been up walking around all day at Disneyland. I'd started the day early by marching down the streets in Disney. Pretty full day. I looking back now, I was understandably exhausted, but I didn't think I was actually going to be able to fall asleep without the help of my pills, right? So I was laying there in bed, and it was a comfortable bed, and before I know it, I'm like asleep, and I like jolt up, and I'm like, huh, and I look down at my watch, and it's 1:30 a.m., and I just look around, I'm like, wow. And everyone is still just sitting there watching Mythbusters, and I'm just like, wow, guys, Happy New Year.
So I actually missed New Year one year because I had, and it was only like 4 years ago, actually. I didn't feel good. I'd eaten something for dinner that did not sit well, so I wasn't feeling good. So I went to lay down at 9 o'clock, and I had brought my own bottle of Welch's grape cider because I didn't want anybody else to drink it. And I took that with me, fell asleep on accident, ended up waking up. I looked at my clock, it was 3 a.m. So I was like,
oh man, yeah,
I cracked open my bottle, took a swig, posted on Snapchat, I was like, Happy New Year, y'all, and went back to bed. That was the extent of my New Year's.
I was so mad though, because it's like, I was like, oh, Happy New Year, guys, and they're like, oh man, I'm sorry, man, we totally missed the fireworks. And like, it was literally like walking distance. Like, but how often are you walking distance from Disneyland? Like comfortably, like that comfortably. And like, there were at least 4 or 5 other people in that room. I feel like at least one of them could have woken me up and been like, "Hey, do you still want to go watch the fireworks on New Year's Eve?"
Definitely.
Gosh. I'm not mad.
Right.
I'm not mad. Complains about it 8 years later.
I'm just disappointed.
I'm totally not salty. I mean, I you know what? I realize now that's a joke neither you would get, but like our band director in high school, he would like get really angry and then be like, "I'm not mad." Like me and my friend, we're putting on our symphonic band uniforms and we're getting ready to get on the bus to go to another location to play a concert and this is again symphonic, not marching season.
Yeah,
and we're like come out and we always have to wear black shoes with our both the concert and marching uniforms, and he's like, "Get your shoes on and get in the bus now!" And we're like, "Oh hey, I'm sorry, sir, we're sorry." And he's like, "I'm not mad."
They're like, "You sound pretty mad to me."
I'm like, "I'm not mad," and it's basically like the meme of that class. I'm not mad.
It's funny. Well, boys, if that is all that you have in your memory banks, I think it is time to wrap up.
If I may tell one more story. No, I'm just kidding.
Jake, I swear to God.
It's about a man named Brian, no?
You will not be feeling very ass later on when I'm done.
Oh my gosh, dude.
But anyways, thank you if you guys have made it through this long episode.
I'm so terribly sorry. I feel like I drone on a lot, but yeah, I like telling stories.
Oh, it's fine. It's fine. I think the first 20 minutes was just us kind of rambling about random things, anyways.
It was great.
It's not just you. It's we all kind of contributed to that. But
I feel like
thank
Mr.
you guys.
Hippo, though. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Does he always interrupt people when they're talking?
No. Well, no. But do you guys know what I'm talking about when I say Mr. Hippo?
Yes.
No, if I saw it, maybe.
From Five Nights at Freddy's Ultimate Custom Night.
Yeah.
Right, that Mr.
Every time he kills you after his jump scare, he goes on like a long and unrelated tangent, and it's but he's also like got an old man voice, so it's really funny.
Anyway, thank you guys, Jake. I swear to God, shut up. Thank you guys for joining. I'm trying to wrap up here. Once again,
hey, did you guys like Moon Knight?
If you haven't checked out the YouTube video, I'm just going to mute Jake from this point on.
Whoa, hey,
the last 10 minutes are going to be silence. I can do that.
That's true.
Please don't.
If you guys haven't checked out the YouTube video, go check that out. It's Quinturkle on YouTube, obviously. Yeah. We have one video up right now, and we're working on setting up a day to film the second one, which actually I think might be a little bit better than the first one.
Yeah, I'm hoping.
I'm excited for this. It's going to be kind of funny.
Yeah.
Especially if I can get new mics, dude. Audio quality would be so much better. But well, same thing with my intro. My outro just went out the window.
Dude, okay, I was listening to your outro on the last episode when I was editing it into the video format for YouTube, and you were like, make sure to click that subscribe button and ring the notification bell, and I was like, no, I've become the very thing I've sworn to destroy because I freaking hate when other people do that on YouTube. It's so annoying.
I'm gonna let you in a little secret. I could not find the outro sound or the music, so I actually had to reuse an outro from a past episode.
No,
and just kind of touch it up. Yeah, no, I couldn't find the freaking outro music, so I was like, oh, I'll just do this. It saved me time anyways.
Cool. Just do me a favor and never talk about the notification bell again, please. Thank you.
We'll try not to. Okay, so yeah, that's it from us. So you guys have a good day. And
thanks for listening, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you guys once again for joining us on this month's episode of the Time Capsule Podcast. Our intro music, as always, is Rareness of Existence by Ader De Silva. Our outro music is called Chill Hot Main by Zach Arvalaha. Both of these songs can be found on pixabay.com. Don't forget to go check out our YouTube video at Quinturkle on YouTube. And if you have any future episode ideas or video ideas, please leave a comment and let us know what you guys would like us to either discuss or videotape for you. Thank you guys for joining us every single month. We really enjoy doing these. I cannot wait to see you next time.